Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Black Family
What's going on? What's going on?
Experience. We missed y'all last week. There's a block around here. We missed y'all last week. Happy Juneteenth. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We were out celebrating both, which is why we were not here. What you got, Terrell?
Glad to be back. Come on in, come on
Terrell
in.
came through with his orange hat for y'all. He was real excited to put that on for y'all.
Whatever, man.
Okay, so our last live.
I see you with the sleeveless t-shirt.
Okay, whatever. Our last live went really good. We had a lot of feedback, and as we were ending the live, is actually how we got the topic for today's live.
So for the next probably a couple of weeks, we're gonna work on a series, and the series is entitled, like they say in church, "Things We Wish We Would Have Known." Things we wish we would have knew, and tonight we're gonna focus on a house. Things we wish we knew whenever it came to finding a house and all that good kind of stuff. If we can go back, fly.
Hey, Danielle. Yeah, it's a mosquito or something flying around here. But so things we wish we would have known, and today we are, like you said, we focusing on the house. So things we wish we would have known. Hey, Gary. When it came to like renting a house, looking for a house before we actually moved into the house, when we got into the house, just like the whole process. I'm gonna bring up the list right now.
I got it right here. Can you see over here?
Yeah, but I don't want to look all the way over there.
All right. So the way we're gonna do it this time is we're gonna go through our list of things that we wish we would have knew or known, and then and then we're gonna allow questions or whatever at the end so that we can keep the flow going. So the first thing that we wish we would have knew or known when we first came here was to take our time. So as you continue to come to these lives, you learn more about our path that got us to where we are today. So back in 2019, we took a trip over here just to see if we would like it. We flew into Cancun, came to Merida. We went Merida for 5 days, and during those 5 days, we ended up looking at some houses. And in the course of looking at houses, over the course of looking at houses, we ended up finding a house that we really, 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 really liked. And we were like, man, we're gonna make this happen, because if we don't get this house now, we don't know if we're ever gonna get a house like this ever again. So in doing that, we ended up putting down a deposit of
10,000 pesos.
10,000 pesos. So
which is like, well, then because I sent you the thing. Oh, I put it in.
It was like
note.
it was 800.
No, you're way off. It was $522.17.
So we ended up putting down a deposit to hold it for us, because we're like, man, don't let anyone else see this. We know we want it. We know this is a house that we want. But if we could go back and do it again based on what we know now, what would we have done differently?
Well, the first thing I will say that we did do right is at the time I sat down and I wrote up a contract, and I wish I had the contract right now. I would tell you what was in there, but I sat down, I wrote up a contract just stating we're giving you this amount to hold the house, and this is the day that we're gonna come back, and this is the day that we're going to do the signing. And it was a couple of things we wanted them to do to the house before we came back. And one thing was, it's a lot of mosquitoes in here. One thing was they had no grass in the backyard. It was huge with a pool. It looked so nice. And I was like, but we need grass. So they was like, okay, when we come back, you're gonna have grass and I don't know, maybe a couple of other little things, but I can't remember. So we had a contract in place before we even left, and we all like digitally signed. Me, Terrell, the realtor, their realtor, and him and his wife. So boom. But where we messed up is we had seen like 3 other places before we saw that place. So a total of 4 houses, only 4 houses.
Only 4 houses.
Before we decided like this is it. But the thing is, that was just like the best of the 4 options, and we was like, wait a minute, compared to the other 3 options, this is it. Like we want to do this, but
and then we felt rushed too because we're like, all right, we know we want this. We leave in at that time it was like 2 or 3 days, maybe less. I think 2 days we had before we left. Mm-hmm. So the big thing is if we could go back and do it again, if knowing better, we would have definitely took our time and not rushed into like drafting up a little bootleg contract and putting our money down. We never got our money back either because he told us that he had already put the grass down. So that's. But
I was gonna say it was also in the contract. Like we didn't go through.
Yeah.
We didn't get the money back. Yeah, but if they canceled for some reason, they had to return the money. That was in the contract. But they were like, we know better now. That wasn't the case. But excuse me, they were like, since they had already put the grass down, they was like, well, we'll give you the money back, but we can't. But we already know, like, we just got hustled. But we didn't get hustled. Like, that was the agreement, but they weren't gonna get the money back. That was just them saying that.
So don't rush into anything. Yeah. Like, take your time. You have time. And there's also how they say that there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
There's plenty of houses in the sea whenever it comes
for real.
Finding a place to stay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna talk about that. Like, when you see a place that you really like, keep looking. Like, look for at least like 2 other houses that are like equal, that you can say like, this is like kind of a hard decision for you to make. It shouldn't be like super like one-sided, because that means like you haven't seen enough houses. And then you will have that pressure of like, I want this house, so I'm really gonna do it. But just know, and usually like we talk them into doing half. Normally you do like a full month's rent, like to hold the place when you're looking at a place. Of course you can negotiate. We always negotiate, but for the most part they will say like, okay, give us the month's rent, which goes toward what you have to pay anyway, and then we'll hold it for you. Just know, like, you pretty much 9 times out of 10 not getting that money back if you change your mind for any reason. They're gonna say, well, we took it off the market, we couldn't promote it, you could have held us from finding our renter, whatever. So just know, like, once that money is gone into them, it's not gonna be easy to say like, you know what, I changed my mind. So that's another reason why to really like think it through.
All right. And so first thing we wish we would have knew, don't rush. The second thing that we experienced, and that was during that time, and also after we came back and started looking for another place, was our experience that we had with the first realtor that we chose to go with. One thing that caused a lot of heartache, a lot of confusion, was the fact that her English, or her ability to translate English back to Spanish and Spanish to English was kind of lacking.
Yes.
So she wasn't able to communicate effectively what they were saying and vice versa what we were saying. So things were being missed.
So here, this is the real issue. This is like the actual situation that happened. So we had like, our day set, and like, okay, on, I think it was like a Thursday or let's just say Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're gonna go to this signing, everybody's ready, and we like, okay, Tuesday. We didn't put like a date on it. It was like a day of the week. And I know, like, from even like my experience, like with days of the week, it's very confusing when it comes to translating. And that's like something that a lot of locals that I met anyway have issues with. And so, no, it had to be on a Thursday. Yeah, it was on a Thursday. But she told them Tuesday. So she got the days mixed up. So Tuesday rolls around, and they're like, okay, we'll see you later on today. And we like, pause, wait. We was like, hold on, like we asked y'all to fix things. We don't even know if that's done. Like we don't have the deposit money from the ATM, like the transfer, anything, because it was a big sum. We was like, we're not ready yet. Like we was planning for Thursday. And that caused like so much confusion that it kind of started off the whole relationship kind of rocky, because they were like, well, we already, have the notary, the
We have
attorney
everything ready to
coming,
go.
like everything is ready to go today, and you telling us you're not gonna be ready for 2 more days. So that was very just it was a lot of stress for no reason, because it's already it's a stressful process anyway. So then having a realtor, and that was just like other small miscommunications that were missed, that honestly wasn't that big of a deal, but because of like what we're doing, and like it's just a stressful process.
And that was our first time doing the process.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of,
it just made it, more stressful for us. And by the time we got there, the stress level at the signing table was so high, because everybody was kind of like annoyed, and I mean, we were annoyed.
yeah.
The people we were renting from were annoyed. Their whole team, because they like, look, we was ready on Tuesday.
We were ready on Tuesday. We had to adjust everything around for you. Yeah. So I understood where they were coming from, but because things literally got lost in translation, it caused a lot of headache, a lot of friction, a lot of irritation.
Yeah. So just make sure like your realtor that you have, and then we ended up, getting the right experience, or not that there's no right or wrong way. We ended up getting a better experience with a different realtor, where we felt like, okay, like she completely understood where we were coming from. She was similar situation with AL and I. Yeah, so it's like it's very frustrating, but with the realtor that we end up getting, she understood us. The translation was flawless.
Yeah.
Or the communication was flawless. She was very like, what's the word? Like supportive of us.
She was an advocate. She advocated.
Yeah, for us. Like whatever we wanted, like she was like, okay, like I'm here for you. There was no like,
I'm trying to please. I'm concerned about what they're worried about, or what their concerns are. Like, no, what do you want?
What do you want? And so that was like night and day, and that just felt good. So that was definitely something that I will say, like, make sure your relationship and your communication with your realtor is like A1 before you even get to that point, because you don't want to go to that when you already stressed. And then on the day of, another reason why we were stressed is because, which could be the next topic. I'm going out of order. He got a whole list, but is
so let's
the ATM.
Oh no, yeah, you are going out of. We're gonna.
Yes, but I'm just saying that it was the day of, and another issue we had was like the ATM. Like we were running around trying to use what's the name of the app? Zoom. XOOM, which is a good app, but when it comes to get like large sums of money out, the issue is the places that they have listed, they'll tell you like, oh yeah, you can get up to 65,000 pesos here, and then you go there and they're like, no, like we don't have that type of pesos here, so we can't help you. We went all over the city to like 3 or 4 different places, like, hey, we did this transfer, can you do this? And then by the time we hit the 4th place, it just looked so suspicious, because we went to all these different people through the app, like trying to get like 70, 80,000 pesos, and it just looked so suspicious that they just end up like denying it, and like, hey, you gotta call in. And this was like 30 minutes before we were supposed to sign. So that comes to the next thing, like, how can you get that large amount of pesos out? Because most of the time they do want it in pesos. They might take a transfer, but because they have to pay like the realtors and different people, they request like, pesos at the signing. And we talked about this before, but the way that we do that is, you want to talk about it, or you want me to keep talking?
You go ahead, keep talking. Go ahead.
Is going to the ATM. To Ben Norte, we prefer Ben Norte because we were able to get up to like 20,000 pesos at a time. Of course, you have to, notify your bank, like, hey, through the app or however that works for you. Like, I need to change my ATM withdrawal limit. So make sure you do that before. But you go to Ben Norte and you can get up to like 20,000 pesos out at one time, and then you could just do that like 3, 4, 5, however many times you need to do that to get all of the amount of pesos out. So that's something we did not know for our first signing that we really wish we would have known, because we spent like 4 or 5 hours literally all
Yeah.
around the city in the hot sun in like March. I don't even remember, but it was hot.
Everywhere we went,
And everywhere we went, they were like, no, no,
we
no.
don't have the amount to cover what you.
Yeah. Plus the language barrier. So it was like a lot.
And mind you, you could use Zoom, but with that, at the sign, most of the time they're gonna want cash.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna divide everything up on the spot. And then, so knowing about the money transfers or the money situation, like how to get the money to put down the deposit, having a realtor again that can translate what's been said between the English speaking party and the Spanish speaking party. And another thing is during the process leading up to the time where you make it known that you want to rent the apartment, and then between the time that you sign a lease, like making sure that the people that you're renting from are letting you check on the progress. So one thing that we had was every time that we tried to we made a list. So we made a list. All right, in order for us to move in, we want you to do this. We want you to do this. We want you to take care of this. And every time that we asked them or we tried to set up a time to go see it, they would say, "No, we don't have time today. The person with the keys is there in Progresso." So we kind of got stuck because it came down to the day that we went to sign. Remember, we already had all this other stuff going on, but we go there, and the first time we seen the apartment to see like if they did the work that we asked them to do was like 30 minutes before we were supposed to sign.
Well, we got to in detail how we got to that point, because we gotta let y'all know, like, we be on our stuff, like we about our business, we be checking boxes, we be going above and beyond when it comes to business. So they got us because number one, don't forget we had paid them the 1 month up front for the place we were moving into. So they already had that to hold the place for us. So they kind of had us in the chokehold already. Like, okay, like what you gonna do? Like, it's nothing you can really do. And at one point we did want to pull out because we were like, and this is what they were telling us. They were saying, okay. We were like, okay, we want to come see the place and check on the updates from the list of the things we told y'all we want y'all to fix. And they were like, oh, nobody's available today. And we're like, okay, well, just give us the key and we'll look. And they're like, oh, no, because we don't have the rest of the deposits. You can't get into the place. And we were like, okay, well, give it to our realtor. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And then they were like, well, it's nobody here to give you the key. So they just went in this cycle. And that's when we started feeling like, I don't think this is going to work out. And when we got the contract is when we really wanted to pull out. We got the contract, we read over it, and it started saying things like after 9 o'clock, there can't be any loud noises. You can't have any visitors.
It was like extra out.
It was like so many things. And we were like, wait a minute. Like, we're not agreeing to this. And we were like, we want these things changed. And they were just like giving us a lot of pushback. But again, the communication piece, we don't know if they're really giving us a lot of pushback or what was perceived to be giving a lot of pushback from our realtor. And she just communicated that to us. So it made us very frustrated. And I was like, look, you tell them they can give us the money back and they can have it. And that's when we learned, that they was like, no, you can't get this bad because of X, Y, and Z. So, and even at that point, we were thinking like we could just walk away, you know, like at the end of the day. But we end up just going there that day. Where was I going at before I got there?
Mm-hmm.
I started telling the whole story, y'all. I forgot the point of why I was saying that. But anyways, so we end up.
So the whole point was pretty much.
Where was I going with that, y'all?
I don't know where you keep going.
I was going somewhere, but then I started talking about the thing. But anyways, so yeah, so about I think it was just about the money. Yeah, like knowing that once you give the money, most likely they won't give it back, and that's how we knew. And you were about to talk about how we got to the signing and how the things weren't done.
Yeah. So
Hold on, y'all. Let me read this.
yeah. So pretty much the day of the signing, that was my first time ever seeing the apartment too, because Danique went and saw it, but for some reason I think I was busy. What's going on? And I wasn't able to make it. But the whole point of the story that Danique told, and what I'm saying is making sure that you actually see what you asked for the day before you sign. So the second time we went through the process, we actually did it a way that made us feel comfortable because we all throughout the phase of them getting it ready for us, we were able to see the house. We were able to check on the progress, and on the day of, we knew that everything was good to go for sure. So throughout the process, make sure that you check on the status if you ask for things to get done. That's one thing that we wish we would have known.
Yeah, and it made a huge difference the second time, like huge, like night and day. Like we felt so comfortable when it was time to go into the signing. It was no questions about is there something else that needs to be done, and we made sure like. I think they actually wanted to sign before the things were done, and we was like, nope. Like we was like, we are not like you. If this is gonna be done on this day, then push the signing back to this day. Like we already gave y'all a deposit.
And
So y'all know we want to move in, and we did a half deposit. We did not do the full months.
And the second time, we actually put the list of things to be done. We put it on a document, and we all signed it.
Yeah.
So
it was no questions about what's supposed to be done, what is going to be done. It had the date on there. So that made a huge difference. So that's definitely something that I would recommend for you to implement is anything you want to have done before you even pay the deposit. Make the list and sign it and have the owners of the house to sign it before you pay your deposit because you want to know like this is guaranteed, this is going to get done before I give you the money, and put a date on there, completed by this date, and we plan to sign on this day, which would be a couple of days after the date is completed. That way if something needs to be fixed, you still have time for it to be fixed.
And our realtor was so bummed, like we weren't even in married, but she came here for us, took pictures, sent it to us, and she did a lot.
Yeah, for our updates because we were here to see the house, to pick it out, and do the original walkthrough when we first made the list. I wouldn't recommend not being there for that. We just had to go to another part of Mexico. And while we were gone, she like came through, sent us updated pictures, like, "Hey, this is what's going on," and she sat on top of it. We didn't have to stress about it, and I like that because I was busy at the time.
Yeah. The next thing we wish you would have known was concerning like the right questions to ask, because if you never lived here before and you're new, you don't know exactly like what you need to ask, what you need to look for, things like that. So that's one of the big things that we wish we would have known whenever we first went through the process of trying to rent a house, both times.
What did you say?
Just the whole piece of knowing what questions to ask.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't know what to ask if you don't know. So
yeah.
You want to mention that? Or no?
I will later.
All right, but
And some of the big things to really like think about and look for, and this is just like off the top of my head, like water leakage. So like on the window sills or anywhere that's like a door or area, look to see if you see any like brown stains or paint that's puffing up on the walls or any signs, even from like the air conditioners. See if you see any signs that something is leaking, because if you're not looking at a house when it's raining, you will never know. And then it start raining, and then you like, what? The windows leaking, the ceiling leaking. Yes, a puddle on the floor. Like, what's going on? That's a big thing. Making sure if it has air conditioners, that the air conditioners actually work. Oh, actually, service everything. I'm gonna stop what I'm saying. One thing that we made sure that we put in like the things for them to do is for them to service everything. Like we said, fill the gas, give us proof of receipt that the gas is filled, service all the air conditioners and proof of receipt. The pool, they service the pool, clean the pool, again, proof of receipt. What else did we have them to do? Because we had like 3, 4.
Yeah, we had a list.
We had a whole list. We wanted to
But
see the proof that the electricity bill had been paid.
It was based on the walkthrough that we did. So we walked through with them and we made notes about everything that we saw. That will you fix it?
Them tips of things they can ask for or they can say.
So I'm just saying it may be specific to wherever you're living. Like go through and walk through because it may be a hole in the wall or something like that you want to address, just cosmetically or whatever.
But back to the services of service things, just the things that can be serviced. Terrell talking about just in general, like the house, the state of the house. But I'm talking about like actual items that can be serviced.
But it's going to depend on your house.
So air conditioner, gas.
Maybe you don't have AC.
Anyways, like the washing machine, the dryer, stuff like that. I turned on all of the eyes on the stove to make sure like they lit up and work properly. Just literally anything you can think of that function that works, just make sure that you tell them like, hey, I want proof that it's been serviced. Because don't forget, once you move here and if something doesn't work after, if they give you 30 days or you ask for 30 days or whatever to like figure out what's wrong and report it back and they have to fix it, it's on you to fix it. Even if it's something as big as like the air conditioner. If it goes out, you have to fix it. So if you don't know when the last time it was serviced, it could go out like 2 months after you move in. So just keep that in mind as I really request like the proof that these things have been done. What else we got?
So and just to summarize that, just making sure that you ask the right questions and walk through the house to see what questions you need to ask. Like if it doesn't look right, ask the question. Have a realtor that can translate whatever you're asking and get the right information and translate it back to you, putting it all together. Another thing that we wish we would have known whenever we got here was the fact that I think both times we moved into a house, like it wasn't clean whenever we moved in. So that's one thing that you can factor in whenever you first move into a house. Either you're gonna have to clean it. Whenever I say not clean, I mean like it's really it's noticeable that it's not clean. Like it's like construction material and things like that. So make sure that you factor in the aspect of maybe getting someone to come clean the house or you cleaning it yourself, however that works out.
And we were talking about that last week, but just to add that under this video topic, yes, make sure before you move in, highly recommend hiring somebody to clean it for you. Like you don't even want, you gonna need a good deep clean. I was trying to send a package, but so you're gonna need a good deep clean. And I recommend just hiring somebody to do that for you because you don't even want to be that tired. So yeah, and last time I was just saying like plan the movie in like a day or two after, like not the day that you sign. That way you do have time for someone else to clean for you.
Yeah.
And I mean clean
Yeah.
everything and change out your toilet seats. Top thing. I don't know what it's called. Cover. Your toilet seat cover. Don't sit on nobody else's toilet seat cover.
All right. So yeah, just factor in the fact that you may have to clean. The
Check
next
water
thing,
pressure at every faucet. Yep. We talked about that last
the
time too.
the next thing is check accessibility. Like make sure that good internet. Make sure that if you're into this thing or if you're into having things delivered, make sure that companies actually deliver out there. What?
Deeply, yes.
Yeah. So just accessibility. Make sure that you're not stuck in a bubble and you kind of cut off from everything else. That's
Especially if you don't have a car.
especially if you don't have a car because it can take you like 30 to 40 minutes for Uber to come out and get you. And that's not factoring in if they cancel.
And we did that from one place we were looking at. The place was actually nice, but it was like a little bit far out. And we were like, let's see if we're going to get an Uber. Man, them things cancel. Then we finally got one. And it was like 20 minutes away. And we were like, is this thing even going to come? So definitely check. Like you said, the Ubers, even for Uber Eats, Rappi, if you don't you don't like to cook, make sure you can get the food. Make sure you have a lot of options because you might get somewhere and you only have like 3 options. That's gonna be miserable. I mean, you might
cooker.
Unless you like to
like-
cook, but even still, like sometimes you don't feel like going anywhere. You want to order groceries. Like you want to make sure you can experience all the luxuries and the conveniences that your new lifestyle has to give you. And even with the internet, connect to their internet, try it out. I know some people do the speed test. If you need to do a speed test for work, do the speed test. Or if you just want to make sure you can watch your Netflix videos and YouTube, then connect. And then
if you're a gamer,
or a gamer, like whatever you do, connect and run a YouTube video or a Netflix movie. Make sure it works good. And if you with somebody else, both of y'all connect so you can see like how fast does it go if 2 people watching a Netflix movie.
For sure. So accessibility in terms of conveniences and the things that are afforded to you here while you're living.
You like about to fall asleep.
For real? The next thing we wish you would have known and factored a little bit or planned a little better for was the furniture situation. So I don't even know if we still know what the right answer is.
I don't think we know the right answer, but we could tell y'all from our experience what we not happy about. That we paying like $200 and something every month for storage full of furniture in the U.S. and we've been here
longer than 6 months.
Yeah, a year and a half, and we still paying it. So that has added up, and we really wish we would have either gotten rid of the things or either just planned once we knew like, okay, we're gonna be here longer than 6 months to just bring the things over here, because either way it would have equaled out, and we just taking an L every month
we get
until we figure something out. And that also comes with like, okay, like, are we gonna stay in the same place? Are we gonna move? So everything changes. It's kind of up in the air. It's like, do we want to bring all this furniture and then we move somewhere else, like another house or whatever? So it's a lot of things that goes into play, but just consider that if you do plan on keeping furniture in the US, that you're gonna have to pay. But then also, if you move into a house with furniture, it might not be that comfortable. It might not be what you like. So it could be, good for you to bring your furniture here, but it does cost. It's costly, maybe like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 USD to bring your items over, depending on how much stuff you have. So just know it's like pros and cons, but these are things that you should definitely think about, at least think about.
Yeah, and I think because of the length of time we planned on staying initially, we really didn't think it out that far. We were like, oh man, we'll only be here for 6 months, put the stuff in storage,
come
we'll be right
back, get it out.
So now if you think about it, we got a bunch of stuff in the storage that the kids, like all their clothes, they can't wear anymore. So we're just paying for stuff to be in a storage that probably we won't even be able to use when we get back for sure.
But we're gonna figure that out soon. But don't be like us. Don't be like us throwing away $200 a month, because I can think about so much stuff I can pay with for $200 a month. Here, too, that's like groceries for the month or 2 weeks.
All right, and then so the furniture plan. We still don't know what the right thing looks like, but we would have definitely planned better based on the length of time that we ended up staying.
That's a good question, and that's a question that it depends on you. But just know that the furniture in Merida, like I always use this couch for an example. Like this couch, we bought a 3-piece couch that came with like 8 pillows off of Facebook Marketplace for like $200 or $250 USD.
But that's not the norm.
But I'm just saying, it's not that comfortable. You can't really lay on it because it's like this big. It's not a comfortable couch. And even when we went shopping, because we went to a lot of stores before, we was like, man, let's just get this thing off Facebook Marketplace. We went to a lot of places, and the places that had really nice, comfortable, like US style furniture was super expensive. I'm talking about like how much is it? One couch was like $3,000, $5,000 for like one piece, not like the whole set. So it was nice, but we were like, nah, we don't want to spend that here. So it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're okay with just, kind of like settling with as far as like comfort, then you can probably find something in Merida. But if you have like really, especially if you have really nice furniture in the US, then I would say ship it.
And then another thing to factor in too, if you're renting a house, like you can find a house that's already furnished.
Yeah.
So.
And then not have to buy anything.
So it all depends on what works out with your plan.
Yeah.
But I think if I could go back and do it again, just me thinking on my own, I think we would have sold a majority of our stuff.
We would have had a small storage, like a $50 a month storage with just like some essential things that we wanted to keep, but we would have sold like all of the big furniture, like everything. And then I also recommend that when you first get here to not go unfurnished, because you don't know if you want to stay here. You don't know like what you like. You don't know like the places to go to buy things for a good price, or the time to buy things for a good price. So I would actually recommend getting a furnished place when you first come here for the first year. And
there's not a big price difference either between a furnished or unfurnished.
Not huge.
Not huge.
A couple of months trying to figure out what to do with something. So no. It depends. It depends based on what we said. You can make that decision, but definitely. I say if it's not like we pay for all the stuff we had like over again, basically over this past year and a half. So I just say if you plan on staying for a year or more, like keep the essentials, the things that you like. I don't want to get rid of this, or I'm not gonna find this again. Or if you have like super expensive furniture, hold on to it until you move here, try it out, and then maybe at like 6 months you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to bring my things here. I really like this. I'm gonna get my residency, whatever, and then bring it over. Because with your residency, they will like waive the taxes for like the first, I don't know, like 6 months or something like that after you get your residency. It's like a time frame. I'm throwing that out there. It could be a year. I don't know. But it's a time frame where they don't tax you on the things you bring in, but it also can't be new things. It has to be at least a certain amount of years old to like bring it. So there's a lot of stipulations onto bringing it. So a lot of research you have to do, but it's definitely worth thinking about like what you should keep, what you want to bring, what's worth it, what's not worth it, and how much the storage units cost wherever you are.
I think now we got it at a discounted price, but I think whenever I went back, he was like, how are you even paying this price for the storage unit?
Yeah, he was like, how are you paying $200? He was like, it was supposed to be like, What was this? What he was trying
At
to
this
say
point,
was
it was
gonna be
like
like.
high threes to 4 months.
Yeah, it was really expensive what it would have been. So, anyways, do y'all have any questions about the house? Today we want to stick to like things we wish we would have known about the house or the lessons we learned about renting a house, in particular house related things. And then we'll choose a different topic next week. I'm trying to think what else. That's it on the list.
That was it on our
Other
list.
than trust your instincts
Yeah,
was the
trust.
last
That was the
thing.
last thing.
And that's to me the biggest thing. Like trust your instincts when it comes to meeting people. When you meet someone like your realtor or the owner of a house, if you get a certain vibe, like that you kind of like uneasy, like I'm not sure, don't proceed. Pause or at least take a pause. Think about it. Proceed with caution because that is the last thing you want to do is enter in a long term
Yeah.
agreement with somebody that you don't have good feels about because you don't want to have like these issues later on down the road where they don't want to work things out with you or they're threatening you or just anything could happen in a relationship where something can go wrong in a house and we're talking about, let's just say if you have like an electrical issue and your lights don't work right and they like, okay,
That's on
well,
you, buddy.
you need to get the lights fixed if you want lights. And you like, wait a minute, like it's not my job for an electrical issue. But you have some people that will like really try to pressure you into doing things even though they know it's not right, but they will try. And again, sometimes you have those feelings about people like that. Just go with your feelings, go with how you feel, and proceed with caution. And when it comes to your money, do not pay anybody a dime until you have something in writing. If it is a house you're interested in, what are they gonna fix? What do
Mm-hmm.
you want? Like when do you plan to sign? What's gonna happen if they decide to walk away? Are they going to give you your money back? How many days they have to give you your money back? What happens if you decide to walk away? Maybe you can negotiate where you like, I get half the money back if I decide to walk away. Half is for the inconvenience for you, taking it off and having to find somebody else, and half is just like whatever. But work it out. It doesn't have to be like a notarized agreement, but just an agreement where both parties sign, where if you have any issues and you have to bring it and present it to like some type of official person, you like, hey, everybody sign. Like this, like everybody signed, everybody agreed, so this is that. So
Yeah.
that's
So if you get that feeling in your gut like something is not right, just understand. Go down that rabbit hole and figure out what's going on. All right. What's the best way to find a good realtor? Do they have offices you can walk into and see the listings like in the States? So yeah, they do have places where they post houses that you can go to and look. Um, and they do have companies, realtor companies or whatever that you can tap into.
the best way to find a good realtor is honestly by word of mouth because you really want to work with some. And first of all, let me just pause and say you might be on your journey searching, looking at houses by yourself, and meet a realtor that you really like. But preferably, you want somebody has already had a good experience with that can vouch for them because you don't want to be the lesson learned
Yeah,
on a bad realtor. So
you
try
don't.
to find. Don't, I don't know what he about to say.
I was
Don't
about to
even
say
say.
you don't want to be the person in the group making a
Oh yeah,
making a
making a
post about
long
how you got
post.
how you got
Yeah.
burnt or whatever. So
So try to use somebody that somebody else have already used. Because again, you don't want to be that lesson learned. And it's just easy. It's so many realtors and so many people that has written reviews and have recommendations. But also try to like, so if you're in a group and you looking at somebody who made a recommendation for a realtor, click on that person's name in the group and look at the other things they post. Like it's based on the things they say, the comments they've made, the other things they post. Just ask yourself, is this somebody that I would take advice from if, when I'm thinking about putting up X amount of thousand pesos? Like, would I listen to this person based on what they said? The answer is no. Then don't take that one. Keep
Yeah,
going.
and another thing to note too is real estate isn't regulated like it is in the United States. So tomorrow, I can go out and say that I'm a real estate agent. It's not really any test, anything I have to do. I can literally I can say that I'm a real estate agent and start
Oh
showing you
yeah.
houses. So
Yeah, so that's a whole nother thing. Ask the question, because me and Terrell, as y'all can see, we like to talk. We like to engage with people. We like to know, like, who are you? What are you about? Not in a nosy way, like, but we gonna ask you. So, how long have you been doing real estate? How many houses, have you rented out in the past, whatever? And one person we met, she was like, "Oh, I was doing another job." I ain't gonna say what she did, but she was doing another job. Let's just say she was a nanny. That's an example. And she like, "Oh, but then COVID happened, and I just decided I want to be a realtor." And so we were looking at each other like, okay. But then as the relationship progressed, like, we realized, like, oh, we could tell, like, the difference in
yeah,
between somebody who, like, I've been doing this for years, this is my passion, this is my job, versus somebody's like,
I'm just
I just
doing it.
picked this up to pick up a couple of extra coins. So just ask those questions and make sure you're with somebody who's like with a real brokerage, a real estate agent.
And make sure that they're a little feisty. And they're gonna like advocate on your behalf because
Yeah,
sometimes they just go along with the other realtor and try, in a sense, try to please the person
because
that's renting the house to
they're
you.
like, you're gonna give me the money. Actually, they
Yeah,
can't give you the money without me, so no, but they will. Sometimes they will. So just make sure that they got a little feistiness with them, not with you, but about you.
yeah,
So
they about that business, and
yeah,
also the notary. They're gonna be on the person that's for some you pay the money, but they're gonna be on the side of the person that's renting the house to you. So you got to kind of like snap them back to reality too. Like, hold up,
yeah,
Bucko.
and I think that actually when you go into, well, from our last signing, we noticed that the notary didn't know we were paying her until the end, because she was looking at the owner like, "Where's my money?" And then the owner looked at us, and then the notary was confused, like, "Oh, they paying me?" Because the whole time, like, she was kind of like on the side of the owner, not in like a bad way, but you can just tell, like, she like, I'm working for
I'm
you.
working for
But
you.
really, she was working for us because we were
Yeah,
the one that was paying her. So just make sure, like, the notary knows, like, okay, I'm going to pay you at the end of this, just so you know. Because we were telling her, like, no, we need this change. Type this over, print this out, and she was kind of getting a little flustered with us.
she had a little hard exhale a few times.
Yeah,
Like,
and I was like, I don't care if you breathe hard. And I knew she could speak English. And I was very clear. I said, I don't care if you breathe hard. Like, we need these changes made. So make the changes. And again, I wish I would have known she didn't know we were paying. I would have made it clear in the beginning, like, hey, we're paying for your services today. My name is Terrell. My name
mm-hmm.
is nice to work with you. We're pleased to hire you, whatever. So that they know, like, you're working for us right now. So when we ask you to make a change to the contract or whatever, like, it should just be done. Like, it shouldn't be a problem.
And I think just going into the whole thing with that mindset, like if I don't pay you this money, like everything's off the table anyway. So because it's easy to be made for you to feel like, oh man, I'm on the owner's time. I'm at their back end. Um, it's easy to feel that way. So just making sure that you go into the whole situation knowing that
It's
it's
you that brought
yours.
everybody to the table. I think
Yeah.
that's another thing. And I think it takes like some practicing. It took us practice. It took us learning. But you learn, like, look, I'm the money maker at this table. Like, I'm the one that's about to pay you, you, and you. Not even like in a cocky way, but like in a way that you realize, like,
It's just reality.
you, whatever you doing, like, it's a priority. Like, how you feel at that table, it matters. When it's time to sign, and don't feel like intimidated, don't feel timid, feel like the powerful person that you are, walking to the table, like bringing your money to the table. Because literally everybody at the table is about to eat because of you, if we just being honest.
Yeah.
And just make sure you know that so that you're not intimidated sitting at the table, because people feel that intimidation. Then when you say something like, well, I want 30 days to see the house. If anything's wrong, I want you to fix it in those 30 days. Then they're gonna be like, if you're not saying that with like some force, like this is what I want, it's not a discussion, then they're gonna be like,
That's
no,
not how it
we
works
don't
here.
do that. We don't do that over here.
Yeah.
Even though that is a thing, but if they feel like they can get over on you, and that's anybody in the whole world, but just talking about at the table, then they will, and they're gonna say no.
I think the first time that we actually signed the lease, I think we felt a little bit of the inferiority, or we didn't understand like the power that we held. Like we could have just said, all right, we're not going to sign it today, we're going to push it off a few more days. But we felt like obligated in the sense of, man, kinda.
I feel like I could have did walked away, but we still did it anyway.
Yeah.
But that's the thing; it just depends on your personality. But that is just something to remember, that when you going into doing things, like you, your money, everything, it holds power. It's getting you wherever you want to be, and you deserve to be comfortable at any table you sit at, and just own it.
Any other questions about houses or renting or anything like that?
And while y'all asking questions, let me think. Is there anything else? I don't think so. I would say we've been really blessed with like amazing owners of our house this time. Like they're really good, and I feel really um blessed, really, just to have somebody that's like, hey, well, you guys did cover life. I know, right?
It took you through the whole process.
That's why we said we're gonna stick to the house, because if not, we'll be on here like 3 hours trying to talk about the whole process. So, well, that's good though. If you don't have any questions, that means you did a good job. But we are blessed to have like good owners of the house that we rent, because we had an issue with the hot water heater or something went out. They was like, okay, you'll have another one. I think the same day or the next day. Somebody brought a new hot water heater, new AC when we needed a second AC in the living room. And that made a big difference. I just felt like that was just amazing, having two ACs in the living room, because now it feels really good. Versus we might be sweating a little bit before on the live with one AC. And I don't know, but that just meant really good.
Yeah, that's a good relationship. Anytime we need something done, it provide like good local recommendations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. That's actually a lesson learned. I think. Did you all buy a car? Any car bar stories? Okay, we'll talk about the car next week then. We can do the car next week.
Yeah, I was thinking about the car.
Okay, so we can do a car next week. We did buy a car though. So we'll talk about renting a car, buying a car, Ubers, all that, like the lessons we learned next week. There we go, Gary. Thank you for the video for next week. But we were just saying like local pricing. So we bought these rocks from this company that an expat recommended, and she was just helping out. Like it was all good, and we thought it was all good. No. Excuse me. And we thought it was all good, and then we get all these rocks. We done pay like $5 a bag for each bag, and like 11 bags. We like, oh yeah, that's cool, big bag. We came up, this cool, and we see, the pictures of the rocks to the owners, because we're enhancing their space. It looked amazing. I put in lights, plants, everything. It looked good. We all happy. And I sent them the picture, and she was like, because they said, okay, cool, like we'll pay for it, whatever. And I sent them the pictures, and she was like, that's it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. She was like, that's it. And we was like, huh?
Then
She
we,
was like, no, that bag of rocks should have been 20 pesos
like
a
$1.
bag. And we paid 100 pesos per bag. And she said 20 pesos. So I was like, oh
Man,
my
we
God.
felt so violated.
So violated.
We went riding back to the place.
Yeah, we rode back to the place. Like, we like, y'all can come get these rocks. Dig these rocks up. Like, we know y'all got us. But it ended up working out. But we learned that anything in the future, just ask them like what should this cost? What's the price? Like, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, ask a local
I'm gonna get some
that you
water.
can trust. Any other any other questions? But yeah, we were feeling real violated about those rocks. Yeah, lessons learned for sure. Um, like I said, we thought we had did something really good. We like, yeah, we got this big bag of rocks for 100 pesos. But again, just be careful who you take recommendations from, because everybody's perspective of good or uh, of value is different. All right, I'm looking to see if there's any other questions in the chat dealing with the houses. And like we said, next week we'll put together a list regarding buying a car. You wouldn't think of something like a bag of rocks. Yeah, I don't even know if we got scammed per se, because that's just what they were charging. We didn't know about the local places to go to get a better price. So I don't even think he scammed us. Like the guy who put the rocks down, he was a legit guy. Like he came back out here. It's like, oh, you don't like the rocks? He came back out and made it. He put down some more rocks for us. Like I don't think we got scammed. I just think that we took a recommendation from people that really didn't understand what the local price, what the local economy was. So
And um
why would y'all switch houses for this? Why did we switch houses? Why did we switch houses for our second lease? That's a good question.
yeah.
So
No, I answered that, but let me say something first about the rocks. So about the rocks, I told y'all we own it. So we was like, man, we going to the place that the guy worked at, because we was like, did the guy hustle us or what? And we went to the place and we asked about prices of like different plants, and then we like, and those rocks, how much are those? All the prices were just super expensive.
It was expensive. It was
just an
spot.
expensive place, and yeah.
And we didn't know better. But why did we switch houses for the second lease? Nothing bad happened. We got, so the first place that we lived, it was an apartment, and the reason why we got the apartment was because we wanted a place to we wanted a place to store our suitcases, our bags, and all that kind of stuff, and also to come back and kind of have a home base. But towards the end, whenever it was time for us to go back and get our temporary, go through the temporary visa process, we decided that we wanted to move out. And in doing that, we didn't have any issues. So what happened was we told them, like, let us move out early. We asked them if the deposit that we paid could serve as the last month's rent. They let us do that. So it wasn't anything bad regarding like why we moved out. It was more so based on personal preference. And then whenever we came back from getting the temporary visas, going through that process, we knew that we wanted to spend. We knew that we wanted to put our stakes down in Merida, so we ended up renting a house here. So that's how we ended up switching houses. So it wasn't anything necessarily wrong with the first house. It's just what our needs were at the time based on what we were trying to do in life.
Yeah.
Oh, the reason why we lost the deposit was because we came on our visit. We were gun ho. We were here for 5 days. We saw a house that we really liked, and we based it off of the houses that we had already saw. So we were like, man, we need this house. Take our money so that you don't give it to anybody else until we get back in January.
Yeah.
But then after we slept on it, we get back to the States. We were like, man, do we really want that house? Like it's kind
Yeah.
of far. It was outside the circle too.
Outside the peripheral.
Outside the peripheral.
And
Outside the loop.
we started just thinking about all of it, like, yeah, no. So then we hit him up, and he was so surprised. He was like, "Wait, what changed your mind? Like y'all were ready?" And we was like, sorry, we just thought about it. That's all we want to do. Which is how we ended up in the first place. How we always tell y'all it was kind of like our stash spot, like our like place to keep our things. And we traveled a lot. We went to a lot of different places in Mexico. So we just found a cheap apartment. Not cheap. Let me take that back. We just found an inexpensive apartment for us and our budget. It was inexpensive. And we was just like, we're going to have our things here and we're going to travel. So we just spent the first 6 months like traveling.
Yeah. So that's the background of everything. So
the hotel or Airbnb when you first relocate. I think either. They're like the same. I just wouldn't recommend like finding a place immediately. Definitely stay somewhere in a hotel or Airbnb when you first
give yourself that cushion so that you don't feel rushed.
Yeah.
That's so that this is sort of on me. Like we were sitting in the hotel. That's how we kind of ended up selling for the first apartment. I was like, man, look,
let's just do it.
I'm tired of being in this hotel room. I'm trying to get some more space. Like, man, let's just do it.
And I was like, no. But he was ready, so I just gave in. But I will say, if you have a area that you're thinking about, I would say rent an Airbnb in that area of the town, or Merida if you're thinking about coming here, that you thinking about living in. That way you can kind of see what that area is like. Is it loud? Is it dogs barking? Whatever it may be, you can see like what it's like in that area.
The normal rental terms, normally if you're doing month to month, that's most likely going to be an Airbnb or a hotel.
I found a site. I should have saved it. I'll look again and I'll drop it. I'll drop it next week. I'll find a site, but I found a site that actually was like flexible. It had like weekly rates, month to month. It only had like a select few houses, but that was my first time seeing it. But most of the time they doing like 1 year.
1 year, and you can you don't get penalized for leaving early. You may lose your deposit, so just think about it from that aspect.
Y'all should come to Querétaro, the common side. I want to go there. I want to visit.
Is that the place new? Mexico City?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah, it's close. Yeah, we want to go. We want to visit. That's where you are. Yeah, I just got done being sick, so I'm coughing. Excuse me for coughing. Oh, yeah. Nice. So I know the weather nice. Yeah, that makes sense. When I went to Mexico City in March, it was cold. I was like, well, it was chilly. So, yeah. Querétaro, we might go there sooner than later.
Querétaro. You gotta learn how to say it.
Querétaro.
Tongue twisted.
Any other questions? I think this was a good live. Thank y'all so much.
Y'all came to Merida a few weeks ago?
Oh, Danielle, Gary, Smith. He said Danielle and I didn't even think like, okay. Came a few weeks ago. Ooh, how long are y'all gonna be there? Y'all got an Airbnb big? No, just saying. How long are y'all gonna be there? Cause that sounds kind of interesting. We wanna maybe Guadalajara soon. Maybe.
How much for those? A few. Oh wow. A few years. Oh, vets.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all been there for a while.
But yeah. So when we go to Querétaro, we can hit y'all up. Then y'all can give us a tour. We just gotta find a babysitter. Ooh, well,
Oh man, congrats,
congrats.
congrats.
And don't forget what we said. Don't forget what we said when it comes to signing that lease. But congrats. I
Take
hope
your
it goes
time.
good. And for sure, when we come there, we're gonna hit y'all up. Oh, I was gonna say we supposed to be going to maybe next month, Guadalajara.
Guadalajara.
Again, we went once, but we want to go without the kids. But we don't even know if we can do that. But we'll see. But we found I found $20 tickets, so I just booked it round trip tickets. So we'll see. We sure will. Y'all forgive me. I'm barely making it right now. 2 weeks ago, but it's great information for the next post. Ah man. It's okay because you haven't signed yet. So you still got
True.
that power. Don't forget, you still have that power when y'all get to that table. It's on y'all. If it's anything y'all want changed or done, it could still happen. If you ain't signed, it's still time. It might feel uncomfortable, but again, this on y'all. Like y'all the one making it all happen. Y'all bringing the money so things can be changed if y'all want it to be changed.
That's right. Make sure you feel good about it. Make sure you feel good about it.
I'm gonna be in the bed tomorrow now, for real.
But if there's no more questions, we enjoyed it. Next week, the topic will be cars. We might get some graphics. We might get a little.
You ain't
No.
get no great.
Maybe.
No, we be planning these big things, and
You
then
are
the day come, we be like,
struggling.
all right, we going as you are. What they say, come as you are. That's
Come
how
as
we
you
be
are.
coming. So,
But yeah, if there's no more questions,
what you looking at like that?
I was looking at the questions. It's so small.
Then
And
we're
the
gonna
glare.
head out. It's been a good hour. Thank y'all. This was a really good live. We'll see y'all next week. If you want to know about buying a car, renting a car,
Oh, we're gonna do
Uber,
renting.
ride
Oh yeah.
share, just the whole car
Transportation.
process.
We're gonna do all the transportation.
Period.
Oh, you in the UK?
Live. Woo! Well, thank you for watching all the way from
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
UK.
UK.
3:20. I can't even think of a time that will work out for that then. But you can always catch the
Playback.
the playback.
All
Thank
right.
y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Gary and Danielle, good luck if y'all sign y'all lease. And don't forget what we said. Like
Man,
y'all got all the power. You got the power. You got the power. But no, for real. I was in Puerto Vallarta last week checking it out. Ooh. Thank you. I'm like almost there. Almost there. I feel so much better than I did last week. But thank you. Y'all excuse me coughing everywhere. I just wanted to show up.
Hopefully, I might call for next week. We might switch
off.
off.
Oh my God. Anyways. But okay. Bye, y'all. Oh, I forgot to do our. No, we're not doing
What you gotta do?
Our picture. Over there. You just, right there. Look right there. Look. Oh my God. In the camera. Okay. Bye, y'all.